Hey guys, so checking in. I didn't really vlog at all this weekend, but in case you guys were curious, I literally read A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin back to back all weekend long. I just listened to them nonstop and it was glorious. I loved it so much. So, reading update for the weekend, I read these. Today is currently Tuesday, which is ACOFAS release day. So, obviously, as I'm speaking to you, I have already finished the book. It is like noon right now. Yeah, it's like noon. And my plan was to download the Kindle version, read it at midnight, and just kind of stay up all night and finish reading it. I downloaded it at midnight and promptly fell asleep because I apparently no longer am capable of doing that, like doing an all-nighter. So, I woke up at 7 a.m. and then proceeded to read the whole thing. I pretty much did that because I ordered this. So, this actually got here a day earlier than I was expecting, but here is a little mini unboxing for you guys. But I downloaded the Kindle version because I ordered this version of ACOFAS, and one of the book boxes that I got for ACOFAS is having the UK paperback in it. So I have two versions of this coming, so I really didn't need to go out and buy an immediate version. Look at the pin! So we got the pin. I'll show you guys all of this. This will also be over on my Instagram in case you guys are curious. So I haven't actually seen this in person. Oh, it's so pretty. Yes. Okay. So I ordered this version, and this is through the Good Choice Reading virtual signing, which you can get the book signed and personalized for you because Sarah wasn't doing a signing tour for this. So this is literally signed to me from Sarah, and I'm so grateful for this. So I wasn't expecting to get this on release day, but surprise, the mail just showed up and it was here. So that is amazing on their part. That's like, whew, that's so good. Like I said, I've already read and finished this whole thing. So I think over the course of this week, I might discuss my thoughts on it. I need to process for a little bit, so I'm not going to discuss anything right here, other than I'm just so, like, happy. Prithian is just like my happy place. So she could literally write like anything set in that world with the characters in it, and I would be like, ah, this is amazing. So I'll probably discuss my thoughts on that throughout the course of the week, but I also have endless unboxings coming up. So I think instead of doing a full review of it as a standalone thing, because it is a novella, it's very short, so it's not like I have a serious plot or character development to discuss. So I think I'm just gonna kind of like ramble my thoughts as I do unboxings. So stay tuned for those, but just know that I love it. I just love this series so much. I haven't fallen in love with a series like this since probably Harry Potter. Like, ugh. It's so good. So, what else am I reading? So I just started my buddy read for Ace of Shades. I'm doing this with a whole bunch of people on Twitter, so I have read 92 pages, so I'm this far into it. I'm not loving it, possibly just because I was so in the ACOTAR world for so long. Like, my entire weekend was dedicated to it, so to like drag myself out to actually sit down and read this was kind of a task. So I think that might have like skewed my impression of it, but I'm not loving it. I don't like that it was compared to Six of Crows because I don't think it has the same feel at all. It's not a con story, and I don't think that Levi compares to Kaz in the slightest. So with that impression like gone from my mind, I think I'll actually enjoy this more. I'm just kind of having a harder time picturing the setting. I'm picturing more of like a 30s, 40s, like gritty city vibe with like some steampunk influence, kind of like how the orbs are described, like their currency system. So I'm getting that vibe, but it's meshing with the Casino Vegas vibe. Like, they're not coexisting. So far, that's kind of my issue with it. I'm curious to see where all the characters go. I like that Lords is kind of like an offset character, like she's not present in the story, but she's very present in the story, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so far I like the concept of the talents that they're born with. I like the really shifty people that are in this story, and I like that they're gonna be dark and gritty because I'm a big fan of that. But so far I'm not wowed by this. So hopefully now that I've gotten ACOFAS out of my system, I can actually sit down and enjoy other books now. Or I might just read it a second time today. That's entirely possible. So I'm about almost 100 pages into that. I'm technically still reading Starry Eyes, but that kind of got put on hold. Where did it go? I'm losing my books right now. I am about to start Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. I just got the audiobook for this, so I think I'm actually about to go head out and tend to my gardens like the little old lady that I am, but I just really want to get outside and play in some dirt right now. My plants are calling me, so I think I'm gonna pop in some headphones, listen to this, and then garden until my heart's content, and then have to go back to reality tomorrow. I go back to work tomorrow. I literally took off work to read this. So I've had a long weekend in Prithian, and it's been wonderful, and I'm not ready to go back to reality yet, so I might just reread it. That might happen. Hey guys, so I failed at checking in this entire week because work got really insane this week, so I pretty much just did the whole work all day long, come home, eat dinner, shower, go to bed routine for the whole week, so I didn't really have much time to check in. I also wasn't looking mighty attractive this week. I was very tired. Coming from all the way back on Tuesday, I had read ACOFAS twice. That happened. That's what I did all day long. It was great. I fell off the face of the earth for my Ace of Shades buddy read. I'm actually kind of contemplating DNFing that right now just because I'm really not in the mood for it. The buddy read is already over, so it's not like I need to keep up with my thoughts with everybody else. I just failed at it all around. I just was not feeling the book, so I'll probably get back to it at some point, but it's not a priority for me right now. So I'm sorry about that. Over the course of the week, like driving to and from work, I did listen all the way through Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. And I loved this book. This was a 5-star book for me. It blew my mind how well done it was. I was very wary going into this because it's a YA story about Vikings. And I was terrified that it was going to be dumbed down and like romanticized and fluffy. Because the Vikings are none of those things. The Vikings are really unforgiving, they're very brutal, and I was worried that that wasn't gonna come across in this. I was so wrong. This book was everything I wanted it to be and more. I was worried because we're following obviously a teenage girl as a protagonist in this, and the Vikings were pretty equal as far as women to men's rights. Like the women were fighting on the battlefield just with the men, and it wasn't really a sexist issue for them, and that came across in here. Also, I was worried with how graphic it was going to be because it should have been graphic. Like, I was all for some brutal warfare, and I was worried that that wasn't going to happen, and then I got into the very first scene. We are thrown right into the middle of a battle scene, and there is death happening. There is some, like, disembowelment and decapitation. It was rough. And it was intense, and I loved it. I loved how everything was portrayed in this, where the clans were extremely loyal to family, extremely loyal to their spiritual beliefs, and that was present the entire time. They weren't skewed by like a weird love story. They weren't skewed by just things being thrown at them. They held true to their beliefs. Even though beliefs do kind of change in this, it was believable and realistic how it was handled. I just loved it so much. I highly recommend this. If you're thinking at all of picking this up, definitely do it. It's a pretty fast read, so definitely recommend. 5 out of 5 stars for this. And as of right now, I am still working on Starry Eyes. I'm going back to a contemporary kick right now to kind of cleanse my palate of some really brutal Viking stories and Prithian, and I'm just gonna do some contemporary for a little tiny bit just to kind of like have a breather and then dive back in. So my plan is to work on this. I am about to actually head out to my parents' house in Amish country and go to a lot of their local greenhouses and nurseries to pick up some plants for my garden, and I'm so excited. So I'm going to listen to Starry Eyes. I just found the audiobook for that, so I'm going to listen to that all the way out there and back. It's a pretty long drive, so I'll get through most of the book by then. So those are my plans for the day, so I will check in with you guys possibly tomorrow. No promises, but hopefully tomorrow. Hey guys, so I'm sitting literally in my hallway right now because there's some good lighting coming in from my front door area, and it's very gloomy, so lighting is very hard to find right now. So, checking in, it is Sunday. I spent all day yesterday listening to this book, Starry Eyes, and gardening, basically. I went to the nursery with my mom, bought a whole bunch of plants, got all my little baby plants in the ground or planted into their containers, so my house is looking lovely now. But today is kind of dreary, it's kind of raining off and on, so it's a good reading day. I have the house to myself today. So I finished up reading Starry Eyes by Jen Bennett this morning, and it's a 2-star book for me. This gives me the same vibes that, what was that book? What Light by Jay Asher did. I really loved the mood that it put me in. Like, it is the perfect, like, outdoorsy, camping, summer vibe type book. So if you're looking to get in... Bird, quit twittering. If you're looking to get into like that mode of like camping and being outside and being excited for summer, this will definitely give you that, because that's, and I'm comparing that to What Light, because What Light was a book that came out a couple years ago, and it really puts you in the holiday Christmas mood. It's set on a family's tree lot for Christmas trees. But as far as that book goes, and as far as this book goes, the setting and the atmosphere and the tone of it was really good. The characters and the plot just weren't great for me. This follows somewhat forgettable characters. I feel like it falls into a lot of tropes that I'm sick of seeing in contemporary, and as like a contemporary story, it's forgettable to me. And that makes me sad saying it because I want to like it so much more, but the characters were all very tropey. Like, we had mean girl friends, douchey jock guy friends who just like were over stereotyped to the point where it was like really cliche to read about. The main character and the main love interest are both like the manic pixie dream girl, dream boy characters. It's the friends to lovers trope that wasn't done well, but it was at the same time, it was the like what could have been trope. And it just didn't click with me too much. Like, I enjoyed my experience reading it, but I'll probably never pick it up again. And it'll probably just kind of be forgotten, sadly. Things that I liked in this was the representation of like rare chronic disease. She has an issue where she breaks out in hives constantly over weird triggers such as like stress or certain environments or certain foods. There's nothing like specific that causes it. It's just something that she deals with her whole life. So that was kind of cool to see that just mentioned in it. It was not the forefront of the story, but it's definitely present. I liked the very modern families, like the guy's parents are two women. There's a very dark past story with his actual like biological father. And then the protagonist's parents are going through kind of like serious divorce, trust issues. So it's very modern families going through very modern issues. So I liked that representation. I like the representation of the protagonist having a very type A brain. She's very over analytical and overthinks and plans everything. And that's okay. It's okay to think that way. It's not okay to think that all the time, but it's definitely normal to have thoughts like that. So I like the representations that were in this. I liked the tone of the story. I just didn't like the story itself. It was predictable, it was fluffy, it was kind of cringy at times with how cheesy some of the lines were, but all in all, this is a 2-star read. I enjoyed my experience with it, but that's gonna be it for it. So as of right now, that leaves me technically open right now. I am currently not listening or reading to anything, so I'm in the weird in-between stage where I'm trying to pick what I want. I think I'm going to kind of lean more towards contemporary right now because I'm feeling lighter, happier reads because I have a lot of fantasy buddy reads coming up. So I definitely need to read Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake because this is coming out mid-May, so I wanted to get a review up, or at least my thoughts about this to you guys before then. And it's a darker contemporary, so I think it's going to be pretty heavy and emotional to read. So I'm going to balance this out. So I think I'm going to balance that out with Smothered by Autumn Chickless. I'm not 100% set on this, but this just seems really fun and fluffy and like a really quick read. So I think I'm going to try and get through a lot of quicker reads this week before I get back into like fantasy buddy read mode. So it might be like a lighter reading vlog for this coming week. I'll probably do one more check-in tomorrow to kind of wrap up the week, and then hopefully this will go up Tuesday. Oh, also, a bunch of you guys were asking, Hercules is fine. He's totally fine. That's a thing that I do every single year. Horses need their teeth kind of filed down once a year. They get really sharp points that can hurt their mouths. And obviously it's not a super enjoyable experience, so they get sedated. That's all that it was. So he's perfectly fine. He's back to being awake, eating his little chubby heart out, and is doing great. Those I think are the only things that I wanted to address. I am going to probably go read. I'm probably gonna go bring the goats in because I think it's starting to rain again. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, so I'm just here for a final check-in. Today is Monday, so this video will be going up tomorrow on Tuesday. And as far as this week went, I feel like it was a fairly successful reading week. I read 3 complete books, and I'm halfway through 2 books right now. So I obviously started my week reading ACOFAS. I read this twice. Does that count twice? Not really. It's a novella. It's very small. But this clearly is a favorite of mine. Again, I'll probably discuss my thoughts on this maybe later in the week. I just started getting my ACOFAS boxes, so I'm actually going to film an unboxing today, so that will be the next video you guys are seeing. Prepare yourselves. There are so many ACOFAS boxes coming. I hope you guys are okay with that. I'm gonna probably try and do 2 per video. I gave this 5 stars. I know not everybody did. It's probably falling more in the 4-star range. In all honesty, it's probably a 4-star book for me, but I just love this world so much that I'm just really happy reading anything in this world. So I kind of rank 5-star books as like feel good, like I'm happy the entire time I'm reading it, which is what this was. Then I read Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. This was also a 5-star book for me. I don't really have any more thoughts other than what I've discussed earlier in this video, but I just loved the atmosphere and the accuracy of the culture of the Vikings and the clans in this. It was so good. I highly recommend this one. I also read and finished Starry Eyes by Jen Bennett. I haven't really changed my opinion since the last time that you guys heard me talking about this. It was enjoyable, it was summery and fun. It didn't really hold up to the test of time in my opinion, so it's a 2-star read for me. I had some issues with it, but as like an introduction to YA contemporary, I still think that it's pretty okay. So like if you haven't oversaturated yourself with YA contemporary at this point, this might be a good book to start with because it's pretty wholesome. I think it was pretty well done, but it's just kind of overdone in my opinion. And I picked up Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake yesterday. I'm about halfway through it. I can't put this book down, guys. I can't give a full review for this. I probably will be doing a full review or at least mini reviews later on this week of some contemporaries that I've been reading, but this is so hard to read, but it's so gripping. It's really hard subject matter. It's dealing with a lot of hard-hitting issues. I can't put it down. I think it's so well done. I am so hooked in this. So like I said, I'm only about halfway through it right now, so I will share my thoughts probably later on this week, if not next week. Also started listening to Leah on the Offbeat just because I could. It was available, so I downloaded it to listen to it, and everybody is reading it right now, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm enjoying it. I loved Simon. I wasn't a huge fan of The Upside of Unrequited, but I still enjoyed it. This one is up there. I'm actually really enjoying the voice of Leah. I love all of the pop culture references. There was already a Six of Crows reference in it, and there's Drarry references in it. Like, there's just so much relevant pop culture nerdiness in it that I love it. Honestly, I'm kind of loving that more than the actual like storyline so far, but I'm about 10 chapters in, so like maybe a third of the way through it. So I'm enjoying that. What else have I read this week? I kind of DNF'd Ace of Shades. That still happened. That's still kind of lingering in the back of my mind right now, but we'll see. So I am actually going to start filming some unboxings right now. I hope you guys are excited. If you're not a fan of the ACOTAR series, I apologize in advance. There will be other videos going up in between these, but for the month of May, there's gonna be a lot of unboxings on this channel, and I am so excited to start filming them. So I'm gonna go do that. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I hope you guys have had a good reading week, and I'll see you in my unboxing video.